The Conference of American Bishops has asked all the preachers to use the homily this Sunday to talk about the immigration situation and immigration law. However, the Universal Church has given us a gospel to read in which it says, hate your father, hate your mother. So how do we put those two together? Well, I think we have to look at what Jesus says first of all about hating our parents. So he says basically that we should really hate people that we naturally love. Whether it's the parents or marriage partners. He doesn't mention grandchildren, but I'm sure grandchildren would fit in there. So what does he mean? Well, Matthew, writing about the same thing, in other words, Matthew also knows that Jesus said something like this. And so Matthew quotes Jesus as saying that Jesus says to us, you should love God more than your father, mother, and other people that you love. Well, that makes a little more sense. We can all understand that we should love God, most of all, the God who has given us all the people that we love. So that's what we try to do. Now, what do we do about immigration? We have these words, we have Jesus has other words for us besides how we should feel about those whom we love. As you know from other passages of the gospel and even in the Old Testament, God tells us as a basic rule of life, a basic rule of life for those who believe in God, to love God and to love our neighbor. And so we have to keep that in mind as we talk here in the United States about the issue of immigration. And what do we do about immigrants? I must admit that I have a kind of sympathetic approach towards immigrants. And the reason is, well, one of the reasons is that my grandmother, who had an important part in my life when I was young, was an immigrant, came from Ireland. And I even, oh, thank you. We get all kinds of service around here. So my grandmother came over from Ireland, and my grandfather came over from Ireland, and I visited the folks in Ireland some time ago, and one of the young folks in that family came over as an immigrant, settled in Texas. So I'm kind of sympathetic towards immigrants. But my really positive feeling about immigrants has to do with the recent immigrants from Mexico. And the reason is that I've had contact with them, that I have said more than once, several times over the past years, I have said Mass for our recent immigrants from Mexico. And they are good people. I must admit that a couple of them lie. Hate to say that, but they do lie, because they will say to me after I've celebrated Mass in Spanish, "Oh, Bishop, your Spanish is so good." So they lie, but we have to put up with that. They are good people. You would know they are good people if you were to be over at St. Philip's here in Green Bay at the 12 o'clock Mass. The church is practically full, all kinds of kids, young people, wonderful. It's great to celebrate Mass with them. I am presuming that they're all legal immigrants. If there are some few, if there are some few immigrants there that are illegal, I would like to see them become legal immigrants. But apart from my feeling about immigrants, legal or illegal, what are we going to do about the many illegal immigrants who are in our country? Catholic or non-Catholic, Irish or Mexican. I'm thinking about the ones who have been living in our country for years. And they have married, they've brought up families, they've worked in our cities, they have worked on our farms. Our farms around here would not be possible without the immigrants. And they're not, I'm presuming that they're legal, but there are illegal immigrants in our country. They've kept the law, apart from being illegal, they've kept the law. And they've paid taxes when they're supposed to pay taxes. So it seems to me that it's just and charitable to find some appropriate way for them to become legal residents without saying, oh, they have to go back to Mexico and then come in. It seems to me there should be a way to figure this out. And I think we should encourage our Congress people to look at it. Well, whether or not you agree on that, in any case, we should not think of illegal immigrants as evil or as the enemy. They are, by and large, good people trying to make a decent living. And above all, going back to what Jesus has to say now, and above all, they're our neighbors. And what does Jesus say about neighbors? Jesus says the basic law for us Christians is that we love God with our whole being, our whole heart and soul, and we love our neighbors as ourselves.